There we go. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Is this thing on? I hear it. What? Yeah. What is this thing hanging above my head here? Yeah. Sorry about that. It was a crazy little anomaly there. Just for a second, went to transfer all the goodies from the production PC to the streaming PC, and the streaming PC said, "I don't see any production PC," and the production PC said, "I don't see a streaming PC." And I said, "This is not good. This is not good." So I quickly closed out the production PC so I didn't have to cut the stream, and reinstalled version .51, and everything came back. So I don't know if it's an anomaly or just what it is. So we will see. Tom's auto gain sounds a bit low. Oh dear. Well, let's see what the gain says. In vMix, the gain says 0. And the gain on the Behringer looks about where it normally is. Maybe it's just me, Kenny. Could it be? All right, let's get on with good stuff, shall we? We're in pre-show today. Did I say pre-show? Yeah, pre-show. And we're late getting started. Sorry about that. Really, my excuse is I want to make sure that the vMix, the PTZ Optics show on the Wednesday show gets over so everybody has a chance to come over here. If you're watching us on YouTube directly, I would invite you to come to easternshorebroadcasting.com down here at the bottom. And you can get in on the chat because I see about half the folks that are watching are in chat and half are not. If you're watching us on Facebook, I forgot to put a note, but if somebody will put a note on the Facebook page that we're not monitoring the comments until after the post show. I'll go back and reply to comments later. Just not enough of me to go around. Not a technology issue. Just a me thing. Although I guess I could try to figure out a way to put those up here on the big screen. Anyway, I'll get to that. We'll see. Kenny and Dan. Oh, Tom's audio gain sounds a bit low. I already said that, but Dan says not as low as Rudy's. Ooh, Rudy. Dan is not being your friend. Golly, Dan, you got to learn how to play nice, bro. Goodness gracious, or all of a sudden, instead of this being a show about X keys, this is going to be a show about, I don't know what. Yeah. Giles says, don't turn it up now. You'll blow my windows out. All right, Chris is here. Good. Mike L says, redundant encoders always good to have. Well, in this case, the encoder was not receiving a signal. So we'll have to research that a little bit. An anomaly. Now Dan's apology. X keys. That's right, X keys. All right, so Blaze is here. Kenny's here. Mike's here. Brandon's here. Rich is here. Rafael is here. Dan is here. Steve is here. Dave is here. Bill is here. Daniel's here. Giles is here. Martin K is in the house. All right. Joe is here. Todd is here. Amnon and Merle. Jim and Chris, Rudy and John, and of course Peter. All right. Glad to have you guys. And if I didn't call your name, it means somehow either the chat didn't pick up on you or you're not on the place where the chat is. Or you could be lurking, and that's okay too. That's okay. It's okay to lurk. Sometimes you have to kind of lurk to get the lay of the land kind of thing. All right, let's see if I've got, since I had to change everything, I have to go back and make sure all those crazy things I changed before, even though I saved them, they didn't save for some reason. I reverted back from 5.2 to 5.1. Let's see if this works. Yes, that worked. All right. And let's see, we need that. We need that a little bit, and that's better. We kind of have to redo all the stuff that we had before. And where's the show tab? There we go. That looks not bad. Let's go. What? Bear with me. Sorry about this. It's just, you know, call it poor planning, call it bad luck, call it just, you know, sometimes you just have a bad day. Ha. Okay, we're getting there. Thank you, Amnon, for the blessing. All bow to Martin K. That's right. Oh, Martin K. is such a good guy. All right. What did we say there? 62 there, 61 there. All right. I think we're about ready. Let's see if this works, shall we? Let's see if this works. And one more before we get started. If you're watching us on YouTube directly, or if you're watching us on Facebook, come on over to right down there at the bottom, easternshorebroadcasting.com, and get in on the chat. Because that's where the fun part is. I mean, not that I'm not fun. Whatever. Oh, Timothy's here. Hey, Timothy. Glad to have you. Anybody else slip in the back door? Christopher, when I wasn't looking. Very good. William Lee and Bill Connor. Very good. Daniel Wright. Did I enter? John Thompson. All right. Good, good, good. Merle is here. Well, Merle is here. We can get started. All right. Mark's here too. Great. Great. Glad to have you guys. Okay. So we're going to see if we can't. Oh, you know what? We didn't test this. Well, we didn't change it. So let's see. Golly gee. Let's try one more thing. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Oh, yeah. It's just like butter. Okay. All right. So let's get started, shall we? You ready? I'm ready. Oh, I got to do one more thing. Oh, my goodness. What do we got? Because we're talking about the thing, not that thing, the other thing. And so we got to make sure we have a list of all the things that changed in the thing so that we don't mess up. Okay, so that's our thing list. Oh, we got it right there. Yeah, oh, look at that. It fits. I love it. Okay, great. All right, so we're having fun, I think. All right, let's see. Do we dare? We're going to start. We're going to start. 3, 2. Hello, welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiots. Yes, that's right. You have, after a long journey, you have arrived at Streaming Idiots. Oh my gosh. Bless your hearts. Welcome. Big shout out to all the folks that are watching live today. Everybody shout. And a shout out to everybody watching on Facebook. And everybody watching on YouTube after the fact, yeah, or live now, yeah, oh, all right, great. Well, if that's the case, I do want to invite you, first of all, to come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com so you can get it on the chat room. A lot of folks, yeah, they're shouting in the chat room right now. A lot of folks in the chat, they're hanging out, having a good time, and they're chatting back and forth, which is, of course, what you do in chat rooms. But they're also... They're forming friendships, they're forming bonds and alliances, and folks that they can talk to and ask questions with, and it's a great way to meet other live streamers who are actually, you know, live, and but not streaming at the moment because that's what I'm doing. Anyway, big welcome to all of you, and I will say right off the bat, if you haven't already. Please come join our Streaming Idiots group on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. That way you'll get multiple notifications that we're going live. Or maybe YouTube does it after the fact. Anyway, nevertheless, we're delighted to have you here today. It's going to be interesting today. Today's show is kind of a smorgasbord show, a little of this, a little of that. What was it? A potpourri. A little bit of this fragrance, a little bit of that fragrance. But it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I do want to give a big shout out to Dan at PI Engineering for their quick shipment to me of X keys. You remember last week we talked about our XK. Whoops, there it is. And it's got green keys on it. Our XK24, which we use a lot for our show, does all the switching, brings up all the lower thirds, switches between me and the guests, does the beginning of the show, the end of the show with vMix and X keys. It's just a marriage made in heaven. It's wonderful. But, well, really not but and I just got a shipment of X keys like yesterday. And they're saying in the chat, we're not watching you, Tom. We're chatting. So I just got a big shipment of X keys yesterday, and I got a new one here that I want to show you guys in just a second. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I do have to do the infomercial, the commercial part. We'll get to that in just a second too. But I will say, for those of you that are in the Streaming Idiots group, you notice that the Streaming Idiots group changed its status from public to closed. And the reason is that some people were using the comments and the help that we were offering each other as a way to learn how to use a cracked version of vMix. That is a version of vMix they didn't pay for. They pirated. And so we've closed the group. And what that means is that the group discussion can't be seen unless you're a member of the group. Now, I guess you could be a pirate and come join the group, but sooner or later we'll find you out, I promise. So that the group has been closed. It doesn't mean you can't join. By all means, come join. It just means that people that are not members of the group aren't privy to what is said in the group. So it's not really a big deal from that sense. But we don't want to do anything to assist the folks that are out there stealing from people like Martin at vMix, because that's not fair. It's not legal, and it's not the way you ought to live your life. Just buy the software, doggone it. Also, did you know that it's 61 days to NAB? That's right. We're getting down there with almost to the 2-month mark. So if you haven't made your plans to NAB, that is the National Association of Broadcasters conference and exhibit in Las Vegas in beginning April 9th, you need to do it. It's going to be a blast. You will have so much fun. You'll meet so many folks. You'll see so many great things. Your brain will explode, guaranteed. But a good kind of explosion. And of course, if you go, you want to make sure you stop by the vMix booth, where I will be working with vMix again this year. Thank you to Martin for extending that invitation, and thank you to Tim for making Martin do it. Also, a reminder that on Tuesday of NAB week, we'll be having a Streaming Idiots meetup in Las Vegas at Scott Whitney's studio, Podworks. It'll be about 6 or 7 in the evening. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come and meet the other Streaming Idiots that you maybe haven't met in person. And it's a great opportunity to press the flesh and get to know folks and just kind of relax for a little bit. And talk, and you can talk live streaming with everybody in the building. That might be the only time in your life that you can do that, where everybody understands what you're talking about. That's going to be fun. So that's April 10th at NAB. And if you're in the Streaming Idiots group, we'll continue to post information about that and also an exact start time and directions to it. Little vMix news. vMix 20.0.0.52 was released, I guess overnight maybe. It's been a day or two since I've checked. Let's look at the date of this right here. Yeah, this was yesterday, Tuesday the 6th. And there are a couple notable changes to it. Number one, vMix will now turn off the NVIDIA share. That's the shadow play. It sometimes puts little icons on your screen. But more importantly than that, it turns it off because sometimes it can steal CPU cycles and it can affect your performance. So if you're using an NVIDIA graphics card with your vMix, number one, update to the latest driver. And when you do, don't install I think it's GeForce Experience. And that will, because GeForce Experience wants to do all sorts of things that are just not needed and will possibly slow down your production. It fixed an NDI discovery issue on some systems with multiple network adapters. It reduced the clicking noise when adjusting the EQ levels when you are live. Yes, that's right. If you don't enable EQ and you move the EQ, you can't hear it, so you have to enable it, and that's when the clicking noise came in. But .52 has fixed that. And it also does full replay time remaining. That will now show in the multi-view output, including the event time remaining when playing events. So not a big update, just a couple little cleanup items there. And that will be in vMix 20.0.0.52. You will want to update to that as soon as you can. And you say, well, wait, I have a cracked version of vMix. Well, then maybe it's time to buy the real thing. It's really not that expensive for what it does. Holy cow, a $250,000 production truck. You know, that's what vMix can do for $350 in the right PC. So it is amazing. Let's see. Infomercial time. You ready for the infomercial? Well, actually, the whole show is an infomercial. Hopefully, a lot of info and just a little bit of commercial. But let me get the commercial out of the way right now because it might even interest you. And then we'll talk about X-Keys, which is a little bit of commercial, but a lot of info too. I am, with my company, Eastern Shore Broadcasting, we design and build streaming PCs. So if you have an unusual need, we can help you with that. If you say, I've used my Dell, I've used my Lenovo laptop, I've used this, and it just don't feel like everything's working as best. If you need a PC to do the job, you need the right tool. And that's what we built. And so you can go to our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, and you can see some of the kind of the off-the-shelf PCs that we build that are ready for shipping. If you need something in a hurry, or if you need us to tweak it for you a little bit because you say, I don't need a 4-port capture card, I only need 2, or now I'm doing everything over IP and NDI, so I don't need a capture card. Yeah, we can talk about that. Or you're saying, well, golly, I'm just getting started. I had a lovely couple I worked with from California. Yes, I'm talking about you, Aram, and Mar. And they were just lovely to work with, but they said, Tom, we're not sure what we need. We need your counsel as well as your expertise in building. So we counseled together on the show that they wanted to start together and what was the best way to do it. And then once we talked about the contents of the show and how they wanted to do the show, then the PC practically built itself. Once you know what you need, then it's easy. But if you start with all the specs and, this spec versus that spec, well, maybe you don't need something that powerful. Somebody sent me a message this morning and was talking about building a PC that had a 1080 Ti card in it. Well, a 1080 Ti card on the open market now, street price is $1,500. Do you need a 1080 Ti? Well, if you're doing 4K, you might. But if you're doing 1080p 60 or 1080p 30, you probably don't. So let's talk about what's the right tool for the job instead of talking about the tools and then trying to create a job for them. So we can talk. And if everything I said is just Greek, then let's talk and we can put it in English because that's the only language I really do speak. The other commercial part is, of course, we represent PTZ Optics. We love our PTZ Optics folks, Paul and Tess, and we look forward to seeing them at NAB. And we look forward to selling a lot more PTZ Optics cameras and IP controllers and other equipment. We also like Magewell. Magewell has those wonderful little dongles for USB 3 to HDMI, or really HDMI to USB 3. And I see so many people, you know, they're experimenting with the Elgato, and they're experimenting with this and experimenting with that. And, you know, then all of a sudden an order shows up in my email box because they need they need a Magewell dongle because they're tired of fooling around with that other stuff that doesn't work every time. The Magewell dongle works every time. It doesn't need a driver. It will do all sorts of conversions on your video. So if you've got crazy video coming in, it makes that video in a way that vMix and other software can understand it. And Rich is saying in the chat right now, Magewell is great and has great customer service. There you go. So there's an unsolicited wink, wink. And Giles says Magewell produces great capture products. There you go. Okay, so unsolicited testimonials right there. What else do we represent? Oh, do we represent something else? Golly, hold on a second. Oh, well, yeah, we represent vMix. We were the 2017 Reseller of the Year for vMix. Somebody asked me this morning and said, Tom, do you know anything about vMix? And I said, yeah, I think I know a little bit about vMix. What you need? Well, I want to do this, this, and this. And I said, whoa, back up a couple steps. Back up a couple steps. You don't want to do that, that, and that. Because that, and that won't work the way you're thinking they're working. You're overthinking it. You want to do this, this, and this. And so we chatted about what this, and this was. And then he said, you're right. That's perfect. And it's far simpler than what I was anticipating. Yeah. So if you've got a quick vMix question, oh, golly, should I say this? Yeah, go ahead. My contact phone number is on the website, easternshorebroadcasting.com. You've got a quick vMix question, call me. I'll answer it. If I'm tied up, leave me a message. I'll call you back. If you're not sure and you don't want to talk to me, send me a note on the contact form on the website. We do represent one more product, or actually line of products. And that is, of course, ta-da, the X Keys. And I was fooling around on the, should we do it like a transition? Okay, yeah, here we go. Ready? Bow! X Keys! Okay. So I was fooling around watching YouTubes, and a YouTube from Kane popped up that was from the PI Engineering. Those are the people that make the X Keys, and they design them. And it was a video from Kane, who works with NewTek, who makes NDI and TriCasters and cool stuff. And so he was showing off this little teeny weeny little joystick. You know, you had to use like a little magnifying glass to show it. And it was a little teeny joystick. It wasn't that small. I think it was probably based on the XK24, except it had a joystick in it and then maybe another, I don't know, 10 or 12 buttons. So somebody says in the chat, Mark, you are bad. You are so bad. Tom is drinking the special lemonade today. No, it's a great day. It really is a great day. NAB is coming up, and it's going to be so much fun seeing you guys out there and seeing you guys at the Streaming Idiots meetup. Yeah, it's going to be good. And it's not special lemonade. It's my special pop cup that my grandsons gave me. If Pop can't fix it, no one can. And it's got my special mix of Russian tea. Must be the postman. It's probably UPS. Could be FedEx. Could be UPS, FedEx, and the postman, judging by the noise. Okay. Boy, I hope that turned off the audio. Not sure what's going on out there, but they'll have to work it out. So today we're going to be talking about, we left off at Kane. Kane was showing how to control I don't remember, I guess it was the NewTek PTZ camera by NDI, but with the X-Key controller. And I thought, well, that's cool. But, you know, that little X, and this is not the one, but it had a little joystick coming out of it. And I said, that doesn't have enough buttons on it. It's a shame that X-Keys doesn't make a joystick that's kind of based on the XK80. Remember the XK80? That's the big guy that's got like 8 rows of, no, 10 columns, 8 to a row. 8 to a column. Anyway, it's got 80 keys on it. Why don't they take that and they could put a joystick right in the middle of that, and you would still have a ton of buttons to be able to use. Even if you used blanks for some of the place, you could still have 20 or 30 buttons available or something like that. So, I said, this is a great idea. This is a great idea. I am going to write to my friend Dan at PI Engineering, and I'm going to say, Dan, you ought to make something like that. Well, I was in the middle of putting together an order, and I said, well, I'll put together this order, and then I'll write Dan. And so I was getting some more XK24s because they're real popular, and the XK80, which is real popular. And then there was an XK6. I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. Maybe for somebody that doesn't have enough desktop space for an XK80, an XK60 would be just perfect. And then I was going down the list, and I saw this XK68. And I thought, that doesn't make sense. That's not the right combination of rows and columns to make 68. What's going on with this XK68? Well, doggone it. Yeah, I'm going to hold it up. This is an XK68. Look at that. It's got the joystick controller right slap dab in the middle. Well, not actually in the middle. It's closer to the edge where your hand would go. So you can control it from there. Now, I can't touch this thing right now because this sucker is active. And this will control my camera right now. It will zoom, it will pan, it will tilt, and I'm not very good with it yet. But let me get it back in the right place on the desktop because we got a little shot for that. Yeah, there we go. Oop, do I need to go that way? Yeah, sorry. I shouldn't have picked it up, but I just couldn't help it. It's so cool. Okay, so this is the hand side right here, and the joystick will allow me to go left, go right, go up, go down, zoom in, zoom out. And what it does is it controls the PTZ camera, but it goes through kind of at least right now. I mean, granted, I just opened this box this morning, and I had it working in 5 minutes. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, really, me. And yeah, the idiot, that's right. And so I had it working in 5 minutes, and I thought, okay, this is really good. And so what it does is this is at least for now, everything that I'm doing is NDI. That was a part of the puzzle that everybody was missing. But here, you're going to like this part of the puzzle because my mind is just already just coming up with all sorts of rabbit trails to go down on this one. So we've got this controller. We hooked it up, and we hooked it up to, where is the shot? Where did I put that shot? Did I lose that shot? I had to restart earlier, and I may have lost that shot. Well, let me hang on a second. Let's put it back in. It was there a minute ago, but I had to restart right before the show, and I hate when I do that. Okay, let's see. There it is. Okay, so this is the shot right here, and you get to see my green screen now. This is the camera, and there might be a little bit of lag because it's going through the, well, this whole thing that I'm in right now is the NDI monitor, and you see all the little controls that came up over here, and then a little menu thingy up there, and then a little record button down here, and then a little setting button over here, and then a full screen button up there. And this is, let's see if I can I make this sit on top? There we go. And this little control-y thing right here, whoops, right there, I can go to with my mouse, and I can use to control the camera. And so I'm basically just using my mouse to control the camera, up, down, around, and let's see if we can come back over to where I am right there. Whoops, that was close. It's not a perfect science. There we go. Whoops. Come on. There we go. That's close enough. And that's pretty cool. But I wish you could see the menus when I pop them up right here. I guess I could do a desktop capture and we could do that. So let's do that real quick. We'll just do a quick desktop capture so you can see these little cool menus that pop up. It's like, cool menus. Tom, I've never seen a menu before. Well, I know. But let's look at that one for just a second, and we're going to click the sharpen on so it's be as clear as possible. And let's take this guy full screen so you can see the menus now. We'll go to settings. Do we have a full screen option? Yeah, there it is right there, full screen. Okay, so we'll go back over here and we'll go into settings. And first of all, we can see that we're connected to the ESB broadcast PC. And the PTZ Optics robotic camera is on channel 1 in NDI. And of my settings, pay no attention to those settings until we get down to this one, PTZ joystick. And there it is. The XK68 joystick is right there. Now again, lip sync is going to be out because we're going through an intermediary piece of software and doing a desktop capture in order to do this. But I wanted to show you that the XK68 connects, zing, easily to the NDI Studio monitor. Okay, so we got the NDI Studio monitor. Let's go back to that shot for a second. And that is really me. And so now I can use the, well, yeah, let's go to that shot. I can use the Xbox controller, and you're going to see over here in the window on the left side, I'm kind of off center. I wonder if I go right or left for that. Let's try just a little bit. Nope, wrong way. Just a tad. There we go. And I love the fact that it's got such sensitive control. And I might be a little bit too high in the, so if I want to go, there we go. Now Martin K likes me to have just a little bit of headroom there. But it's also got the ability, not that you would want to see me that closely, but it's got the ability, and this is the camera over NDI. Of course, this is an NDI image. It's pretty scary. Pretty scary, I think. Yeah, let's yeah. Let's go back out. That was not the greatest, so we're just going to twist a little bit, and when we get about where we want to, we'll send it back to center, and the focus will catch up with us. And it's a nice little joystick. It's got good control. It seems to have probably 3 different kind of speed settings depending on how far you move it, because the camera will move very slowly, kind of an intermediate speed, and then kind of a super fast speed. And super fast is like zing fast, like amazing fast. And it's like get out of control. It goes so fast. But if you need to get where you're going in a hurry, you can. But here's the thing. And let's go back to the main shot here so you can see it. And we'll zoom out a little bit. Oops, sorry, wrong way. And you're going to get to see, kind of the studio deal going on here. But let's say if you were in church and you wanted to be able to follow your pastor around the stage a little bit, you've got the ability to pan left and right very smoothly with this joystick, and then of course zoom in to whatever portion you needed to. Let's see, where's my zoom here? Oh, have I lost my zoom? I guess, nope, there we go. It just took a second to catch up. It's got to blame it on operator error here. There we go. Yep, there we go. And so I think this, and yes, price $250. And it becomes a great alternative to the PTZ Optics IP controller at $750 or $650, depending on if you got the street price. Now, what I haven't been able to figure out yet, because I've only had this thing out of the box for maybe an hour, is how to do multiple cameras. And I guess I'm going to have to get a second camera in here with NDI on it to be able to determine what that will be. Let's take this off of full screen so we can see the rest of you guys. There we go. And in post-show, I'll get some Dan to help me on a Q&A with this, so that we can make sure we've covered all the bases. This is the XK, the X Keys, XK68, which is a joystick controller. It is in the store at easternshorebroadcasting.com, and it is in the shop at Eastern Shore Broadcasting on Facebook. So if you think this is what you want and you want to get it today, I've got one in stock, but I'm sure they'll make more. And of course, if you need an XK24 or an XK60 or an XK80, we have all those in stock, and we can ship those. Probably not today because we're doing the show today, but tomorrow. And if you got questions about them and you want us to do a demo for you, a live demo, shoot me a note, easternshorebroadcasting.com, in the contact section, or you can PM me on Facebook in the Streaming Idiots group, and we can talk about whether this is going to be the best solution for whatever your needs are. Remember, we're looking at needs first and letting needs generate the solution. But I think that this little guy, we'll go back to the side-by-side shot with him. I think this little guy is going to fit a lot of needs, because he's going to be in a situation where where people are going to need a joystick, but they don't want to spend $650 on a joystick. Now, yes, you can use, I'll have to test it. I haven't tested it yet, but the rumor is you can use an Xbox controller also to control the cameras. So that's going to be pretty cool. Excuse me just one second. And thank you to Mark for putting the link in the chat. By the way, if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, come on over to Eastern Shore Broadcasting right now and click Watch Live, and that way you can get on the chat too, because that's where the cool kids are. So let's see, where do we go from here? If you are in chat and you've got things you would like to see, be ready to either copy and paste them if you've already put them. Let's clean up our picture here. We want to send the camera down. That's going to send me up. There we go. Just a little bit of motion there, and then am I off center just a little bit? The camera needs to go that way. So, whoops, that's the wrong way. There we go. So, boy, I might keep this thing. I like that. I like that. Okay. It's all NewTek's fault, says Giles. You never know. You never know. So, let's do this. Let's close out the show here, and we'll go into the post show, and then we'll take questions and interact with the audience. And I use that term very liberally. But if you are watching us live, stick around, and we'll have some live Q&A about this product. Plus, we have Dan from PI Engineering, the makers of X Keys, in the audience with us to help us on some of the more technical things. So, on behalf of all of us here at Eastern Shore Broadcasting, thanks for tuning in today. We'd love to have you come join us live every Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock Eastern at easternshorebroadcasting.com. Click Watch Live, and you'll get in on the chat and all the other cool stuff in our giant infomercial. Remember, this is an infomercial, and we do have a commercial part of it. So if you need any of the commercial, or if you just have a quick question about vMix or PTZ Optics or X Keys or Magewell, delighted to help you with any of those. It's believe it or not, it's a real joy. I love helping folks track down problems. Now, I will say, since it is our business, if this is a hairy problem that's going to take a long time, we'll probably ask you to pay something for our services. But if it's just a quick question over the phone, we're happy to answer that. So April 10th, meet up at NAB. Mark your calendars. You'll want to be there. You don't have to wear anything fancy. It's not a costume party. There might be a banana or two, Dave, but there's not going to be that many folks. And come join us in the Facebook group Streaming Idiots. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make us happy any way that you can. And and I think that's it. But thanks so much for tuning in. And we will see you again. Will we see you next week? Yes, we will see you again next week. Okay? Very good. Bye now. That was pretty much fun. Other than the postman showing up. Gee whiz. You just never know. Ting! And we are out. It is so much fun now. Let's see if I can zoom in just a hair. Oops, that's a zoom out. Gotta zoom in just a hair and stop. Oh, I lost my head. About right there. It's so much fun. Oh golly, I lost my thought now. Anyway, it's fun hanging out with you guys. That wasn't what I was going to say, but but never, oh, I know what I was going to say is that after what was it, probably a week or two ago, spending some time getting my vMix shortcuts and my X keys dialed in together, and now everything works. I've rearranged the studio, and so obviously things weren't in the same place, and so things didn't work the way they did before, so I had to reprogram them all. So it's nice to have my scripts now that will communicate with a second PC, which of course his IP address changed for what reason I'm not sure. And oh, I remember now because we had to do something with the switch. So that when I click the post-show button, it does the Jaws of Death. It plays the song. It might mute my microphone. I don't remember. Could y'all hear me talking during the closing there? Oh yeah, Mike says talking over the credits. Okay, there you go. And it counts to like 23 or whatever how many seconds there are in the closing sequence, and then it turns off the recording. And I love that. But I have to be careful not to demonstrate that during a show, or I turn off the recording. So, you don't want to outsmart yourself. All right, so what would you guys like to see with the XK68? It seems like there was some good conversation going on about using more than one camera. Let me go into settings here in Chatwing and turn off scroll to latest message. That way I can and close. There we go. I can go back. All right, somebody asked the question about multi-camera control. Actually, it was probably me. X keys with faders. Any X keys with faders on the horizon? Oh, that's a good question. Interesting. Under discussion. Yeah, and X keys for so long, came from the background of macros, and the way of course, the way you started a macro was with a button. And how did you zoom? Is that what the question was? Where is it? Right here. looking for it right here. All right, multi-camera control isn't supported well in NDI Studio Monitor yet. Can you pan and zoom at the same time? Yes, you can. I'll show you that. Can you program others as the keys to select which camera the joysticks you if you have multiple cameras? I don't think, Jim. Yeah, I think Dan already answered that. Okay. All right, let's see what else. For that kind of price, can it zoom and pan a non-PTZ camera? Yes, it can. Rich says, need schmeeds, just take my money. That's funny. Amnon says, all right, can it not see? I hate questions with negatives in them like that, Amnon, because I never know how to answer them. That's like when my wife says, would you mind getting me that? And the answer is, of course, honey, I'll do whatever you want. And she really wants to hear me say yes. But if I say no, I'm literally answering her question, which is, I don't mind getting you that, but then she thinks I'm being, never mind, that's neither here nor there. All right, can it not see another camera just by pressing another of them many keys that is programmed right? Not in NDI mode, no. Very nice if NewTek would update their app to support multi-camera switching for control. Maybe. Tommy's here. All right. Christopher's here. It says, interesting, my browser remembered Live Now instead of Watch Live. Now it plays. Tommy fell asleep yesterday. 2 camera setup. All right, Dan says NDI SM does have some, Studio Monitor, does have some keyboard shortcuts for memorizing PTZ positions, autofocus, auto exposure. That is true. Yep, that's true. That is true. And I guess in some ways, you know, buying the NDI upgrade for your PTZ Optics camera for $300 versus upgrading your vMix from HD to 4K to get the PTZ function would be, you know, a different way to do it. Don't know. Studio Monitor, yes. Yes, it does have all those controls. And it's pretty cool. And there is the XK, what is it? I'd have to look it up. The smaller X keys version that has the joystick. It's like an XK, you know, 12J or something like that. Maybe it's just got 8. No, it's got more than that. Anyway, it's got a smaller number of programmable controls, and I mean programmable keys, and it is less expensive. So there is that. But I'm thinking about, you know, for those folks that have got a single PTZ Optics camera, the NDI control, and hack it to make it use the vMix controls for PTZ cameras. And he says, and we're making promises that we're going to do that. And Giles says, that would be awesome. Make it available by Christmas. Is that what that says? Christmas? Giles wanted it on Linux. Interesting. It's turning into a bold new world in so many different ways with cool products coming out. And I guess one of the things that I like about what's going on in the live streaming world, and it may not last, I hope it does, but the spirit of cooperation among companies that may be competitors, may not be competitors. And in some ways, I credit NewTek with starting that. When they said, "Okay, guys, here's NDI. If you want to integrate it into your software, we'll let you do that, and it won't cost you a nickel." And so they shared NDI, and vMix picked up on it, and then then other people have been cooperating in, well, like, Dan, I'm sure, sent an X-Key controller to Martin at vMix in Australia years ago and said, "Martin, can you make this work with your software?" And Martin said, "Oh, sure, a piece of cake," and he did. And then the PTZ Optics guys sent him a camera and said, "Hey, can you make your software control our camera?" And he did. And it benefits vMix and it benefits PTZ Optics. I mean, it was a mutual beneficial kind of thing. And now we're talking about a controller made by X-Keys that controls a camera made by PTZ Optics with firmware in it that supports NDI being used in a vMix production. And so we've wrapped up, 1, 2, 3, 4 different companies in, kind of cooperating with each other to get this really cool result. And I just applaud that. I just applaud that. It is. I think it's the way that business can be most successful. Instead of wanting to eat all the pie, everybody talks about getting my slice of the pie. Well, if the pie is only this big, that big a pie, I can't eat all that, but somebody probably could. But if the pie was this big, yeah, that's right. My arm got caught off over there. If you had a huge pie, and one slice would be more than what you could. I mean, you'd choke on one slice of a pie that big. So I'm all in favor of let's cooperate and make the pie bigger. Let's get more people interested in doing this by cool products that make other products more valuable. All right, let's see. Giles says, Linux is the perfect platform for NDI monitoring. No OS cost. Make laptops ideal portable monitors, and $100, 100 lira cheaper without DOS. Is that lira? Is that the lira sign? Oh, pounds. Okay. And let's see. Dan says, actually, Martin integrated X-Keys before we knew it. Well, now that's some sort of cooperation when he reads your mind. Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. Yes, this is Russian tea, is what they call it. It's sort of a spiced tea with lemonade and tang and sugar and instant tea mix and nutmeg and cinnamon. We make it here and make it by the gallon. I love it. It's my winter drink. I'll switch to lemonade when the weather gets warmer. I have never seen Linux. All these years I've heard people talk about it. And I just thought, oh well. Well, Nicholas Davidson is here. Hello, Nicholas. If you can't get here on time, just show up when you can. Nicholas is doing some cool stuff with video with one of his employers. Has done some live streams from the, trying to think of the name of it. I can see the sign, but I can't picture the name. Help me out, Nick. He's on lunch break. Okay, got it. Kenny G says, Tang, I haven't heard that name for a while. Yeah. Otis says, try ginger tea. Ah. instant tea mix. I knew I would offend some of you Brits with that one. Rich says, any chance you can do a review of tripods with upcoming shows? What kind of tripods are you interested in? What do you need a tripod for? You've built some of the coolest stuff. Remember, Rich is the one that took that that light bar. It was a big light bar like this, and he mounted like 4 cameras on it. I thought that was just really, really great. But a review of tripods. What I want to know is, do I dare find this? Can I find it here somewhere? Let's see. Let's see if we can find it here on a picture image. Not that, not that. Kind of that. Not that, not that, not that. There we go. That will work. So we'll take the image, view the image, and we'll add it as an input. Oh, can I just drag it? No, I can't. Well, maybe I can. Let's see. Drag that there. Nope, won't work. Okay, so we'll add an input. It's going to be an image. No. We don't want to do it as an image. We want to do it as a, what do you call it? A web browser. Because that way I can just get the URL of the image, pop it in there. And boy, that's a teeny little image. Can we find something bigger? Sorry about this, guys. This is just me being me. You know, what can I say? But it's something I wanted to ask your advice on. Ah, there we go. That might work. View page. Copy. Change. Paste. Okay. There we go. All right. What about, can we do widescreen on that? Source, widescreen. No, it doesn't do. What about position? Bear with me. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay. How many of you guys use something like that? All right. Richard wants to see Manfrotto and Revali tripods. Kenny, the tripod show could be a 3-part series. Bye, Chris. The tripod show deserves a monopod trailer. Tommy says, please don't mumble. I shows your upbringing. Oh, well, I shows yours too. Oh, my goodness. Tom, the voice in Tom's head, the one he's chatting with is the real vMix expert. There you go. That's right. All right, so do you guys, anybody using any truss system like this? Nobody. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll go back to our little post-show thingy right here. There we go. And Christy's here. Hello, Christy. Welcome. Glad to have you. Who else has shown up when I wasn't watching? We're in the post show now. Just FYI there, Christy. Michael Upshaw. Guests 272. I didn't realize we had 271 guests before him. welcome. Liam is here. And looking down the list. Now the list rearranged itself. I hate when it does that. Jerome is here. Hello, Jerome. I met Jerome for the first time, actually the only time, at NAB at the Streaming Idiots meetup last year. It was definitely cool. Looking over the list still, just want to make sure. There we go. Kenny says, I use the lift stands, but with the bar on the top of the stand. Aha. Giles says, my green screen support is like that without the triangulated truss. It's just a tube. Kenny says it goes up about 14 feet. Amnon said, I built the truss right on the ceiling. But Amnon's got what we might consider kind of low ceilings in his studio, so he didn't have a lot of room to hang stuff. Tommy has a 1.5-inch bar mounted to the ceiling. Makes it tough to get your beer down from up there, doesn't it, Tommy? Sorry, I couldn't resist. Well, I was thinking that something like that would really make and I'll show it to you again, would make a great would be a great device to hang a backdrop from. And I'm thinking of a situation where you might want a backdrop that has stuff on it, like this, you know, a printed backdrop. And then you might also want a backdrop that is a green screen. And you might also want a backdrop that's a big, heavy blanket to absorb some noise. And I'm thinking if you had the ability to have a good, solid framework, but if you couldn't put holes in the ceiling or holes in the wall, what you might do. So that seems to be pretty good. Yeah, Tommy's using his for lights, but I'm thinking this would be behind the set. So you might put 1 or 2 lights up there as backlights, but not the full complement of lights. Although you could do something like that in the front, but you could also just do individual light stands in the front, which would be different. Might be easier, might be better, might be more work, might be less work. Don't know. All right, sideways on a track. And Amnon got a 9x13 wrinkle-free green muslin backdrop screen photography studio backdrop. Got it. Something good has shown up at the door. I have got to go see what it is. No, we're getting ready for the to move the studio. Might be the 1st of March. We might wait till after NAB. I'm not sure timing wise. We've got a location here locally, and want to be able to bring clients in to do local shoots, as well as do what the PTZ Optics folks did. Was it last Monday or the Monday before, where they had the retail show. I was really turned on by that, and I think that's going to be a really killer idea. And I think a lot of retailers would really, really appreciate it. My son's girlfriend got on Instagram this morning and posted her wardrobe for the day, and then posted where it came from, and that you could go buy it, and these would be the prices. And she happens to work at the store where she bought all the stuff. And I can't wait to get the backstory on that, what caused her to do that, and then hear if it was successful, if the store had a good turnout, because she's got a ton of people that follow her on Instagram, and she's a bit of a what's the right word? I want to be careful in case she ever sees this. She's very fashion and style conscious and has very good taste. And we'll leave it right there. Don't want to get in trouble. All right. Good job, Dan. Well, we're going to sew this one up. I appreciate you guys popping in today, and enjoy your company as always. And if I can help you in any way, please let me know. It would be my pleasure. If you haven't already, and I'm going to give a plug to Jim Moline here, take a look at Jim's YouTube video that he did on his church's setup using vMix, of course, PTZ Optics cameras, of course, and X keys. And I think you'll be really impressed. He really has automated a lot of the production with the X keys and made it very volunteer friendly. And I think that's a really cool thing to do. So, Tom is saying she is high maintenance. You won't hear those words coming out of my mouth, at least not in a way that could be recorded. All right, guys, take care. I will see you next week. And for those of you that are under the weather, my prayer is that you get over the weather. Get over what it is. Oh, John says trendsetter is the word I wanted. Thank you, John. Yes, she is a trendsetter. She is a trendsetter. That's a good one. That's a good one. Giles says that they're going to do a Zoom post show. If you'd like to say hello, we're only doing audio, and there's the Zoom link. If you haven't done one of those Zoom post shows, you might pop in for just a minute just to get a feel for it. It's a lot of fun. Zoom is a really great product. So, enjoyed having you guys with you. Thank you, Amnon. Appreciate that. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Dave. And thank you, Dan. I appreciate, Dan, you being here. It was a lot of fun. So we will let this run out, and we will catch you next week.